reach a certain amount of subs.
I got that.
Then you have to,
I just need the watch time.
Yeah, and then you have to hit a certain amount of watch hours.
Yep. 3,000 for tier 1 and 4,000 for tier 2.
We have been talking about Dan Bilzerian.
I'm trying to get 4,000 so I can get like ad revenue.
Eventually, once you hit it, YouTube might send you one of their milestone plaques.
Yeah. We'll see.
He is pretty famous.
Because they have the silver, the silver one.
He was a Navy SEAL, I believe. The information I could find online is he enlisted in the Navy for 4 years, went directly into SEAL training. After completing 2 hell weeks and 500 days of training, Bilzerian was dropped from the program for a safety violation 2 days before the graduation. Now, what I had said there is, anybody who can make it through those 2 hell weeks and that 500 days of training for that Navy SEAL stuff, my hat's off to you. I know a couple of my buddies who I went to high school with who went, did it, and were like, bro, I was in the Navy. I tried that though.
Yeah, there are a lot more.
It is tough. That is man's business. And so
yeah, there are a lot more.
You made it through that. I have to take my cap. I have to.
Yeah.
The silver play button's 100,000.
I'm not making it through.
Gold is 1 million.
I'm not doing that.
Subscribers.
Yeah. Diamond is 10 million. And the red diamond play button is 100 million, which only one person in the world has actually got the red play button.
Let me guess, Mr. Beast.
I don't know, actually.
Troops and things, it's like you do need to be a little bit more careful. So, I don't think Zach's on me about it.
It wouldn't surprise me he pumps so much money into this channel.
No, it's PewDiePie, actually.
PewDiePie?
Yep. PewDiePie! Well, to be fair,
anybody who goes through that training fails, yet still claims to be.
Is he even still active?
That's a lack of drives us nuts.
He uploads very, very little, but he still does every once in a while, but it's mainly because he has a kid now.
Because, like, didn't he get in some trouble or something a while back? I thought someone sued him or something. I don't know.
No. There was something that happened, but he has his own song that he made, and then he got a copyright claim for his own song.
Oh, yeah, that actually happened. That actually happened,
I don't find a lot to be offensive.
With one of those songs that you did.
Yeah.
I used it for a video and they copyrighted it. I had to dispute it.
It's a looping. It's a looping thing. You know, it's a free use, so anybody can.
Well, that was my dispute. It was free use.
In the military, if you didn't, or misrepresenting what you're
they need to get their algorithm all straighten the fuck out too, because they keep doing that shit.
I think it's spitting in the face of men and women who have done.
And then
and so
back when FIFA
Yeah.
World Cup was going on,
Yeah.
that happened to me on Facebook. But what it was back at that time I was doing like we're doing now. I did a live stream.
Yeah.
And I made sure the radio was off. The only thing you could hear was the window was down. You could hear road noise, you know, tires off the road and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And conversation in the car. And FIFA World Cup tried to claim a copyright on the video on our live stream.
Yeah.
It had no one said anything. No one gives a fuck about soccer in my car. So I mean, I had to dispute it, and they blocked our page for it was like a month and a half. Facebook blocked our page we weren't allowed to post anything on it.
And I understand why people who are so
all because of World Cup.
or their family members find that to be offensive. Absolutely. Yeah, so I get it. We were talking about it all day. The reason is because he was one of those guys that's like, let's sleep with 10,000.
Ended up winning the dispute, but by then it was too late, you know.
Years of doing it, he's like, yeah, you know what? Probably I thought better of it. Now that's easier to think better of it after you did it, right? Because it's like, all right, I did it. I wanted to do it. I did it. You know what? Not as
I had to take down one of my videos because
I think there are plenty of people who are promiscuous.
You got copyright.
100% fulfilled and happy.
I guess somebody
Fucking
else.
goose sitting right in the middle of the road. Hi. It didn't move either. They made that car go around it.
I don't think there's any one formula, but do I understand why he and a lot of people...
I ain't moving for you. I own this road.
One person versus knowing that they don't have I can't tell you how many times a one-night stand was amazing while I was doing it.
I forget which one it was, but I had one of my songs I had to take down because I guess somebody else who actually used the same audio samples. They had, and to be fair, they had a.
But that's part of that, right?
I'm pretty sure they had a smaller record deal or something. So
well, I got copyrighted off a guitar riff I played, just a random guitar riff I played. And it didn't sound like anything like the fucking song that they said it was.
What song did they think it was?
I never even heard of the fucking. It was like the name was Korean, in Korean. So like I copy pasted it and looked it up, and it wasn't anything. Like it was like some kind of electronica song or something. I don't know. But it had nothing to do with guitar. Did that, and I was like, get your freaking shit together.
Okay, see, you guys have got good suggestions here. I don't think this is a very, very big song. I don't think it's going to rival any of the others, but I mean, pretty big. Josh is like, hey, every rose. Yeah, that's a big one. It is. You ask most fans, dude, if they could write. They're one of those bands that, like, even dudes who are like rock, right? Who are like, no man, rock's my stuff. I don't like none of that. Crack. Even those dudes kind of like. I remember when they played the concert for Legends. There were plenty of you in there loving that. Walking your drunk ass wife out of the venue after it was over. This came in. And I gotta be honest with you, I was kind of surprised this wasn't it too. That's a lie. But Hotel California, yeah, I was a little surprised it wasn't that. I really thought it was gonna be the one. Now, this coming in out of Massillon, no, that's not it either. What is going on?
because as soon as I recognized the guitar, I was like, no.
Yeah. I had the Tiger. Is this the park? Yeah, this is that park. That's like a country club.
Mm.
The one you said that was behind your house.
Yeah. I haven't seen much of this area.
That's what that is. It's like a country, like a golf club.
Everything else is way farther up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're kind of snooty in that area there. I had a couple when I was driving for Uber. I had a couple times where I had to pick people up in there or drop people off, and there was like a guard.
That they have body odor and aren't aware of it get on you, but nearly as many, about 51%, get your ass underneath the faucet. And I mean, that thing is an issue there, because I bet your friend kind of like taps you on the shoulder, like, yo, home. You may want to go take that horse bath at least, right? Yeah, a little water underneath the pits, kind of do that. But if a stranger tells you, you're never going to think about anything else for the rest of your life. Like, oh, I'm the smelly kid in class. I'm that kid, right? Remember Big Daddy? The body parts men are most concerned about when it comes to odor include their armpits. 71% of them said that. So here's the thing. I switched deodorants not that long ago. Harry's Razor is one of those things, and like they started, and that deodorant does not last as long as some of the other store-bought deodorants, but that actually makes me like it more. Like when I can put deodorant on at 5 a.m. and I can smell it tomorrow at 5 a.m., right? I'm always like, that can't be good, right? Like that, I don't know if that's good. And so there's something about the fact that it does wear that makes me feel better about it. I'm sure I'm just being crazy there. But I can normally notice towards the end, towards more of the end of the day, it's like, all right, maybe another fresh application of that probably might not be a bad one. People are worried about their neck smelling weird. Really? Head and hair smelling weird? That one seems strange. Now, hands make sense. 25% of people were worried that their hands were going to smell. And they will probably take on the odor of whatever, you stuck them in, I notice if I have slid my hand down the pants of somebody else, I can normally pull it out and be like, hey, I know exactly what this is, right? Like, that's a thing, right? Like, so yes, I would imagine, like, hands have been known to, be a little stinky depending on what the activity may be. It might be motor oil, right? Could be that. Okay, fair enough. Probably should have went with that as the example first. Now, the body parts men feel are important to keep smelling good. Sure enough, their hands, 25%. A lot of them said chest, 21%, and I kind of agree. Like when you're on the couch, laying around, watching a movie with your better half, what's she do? Kind of leans over, kind of puts the head on the chest thing there, and that's that fun kind of like cuddling thing on the couch where it's like, yeah, we're watching this movie. I think I'm going to get laid. She's going to fall asleep before the credits roll. Yay, good times, right? Like kind of one of those. 7 in 10 said their armpits were especially important to keep smelling good. I would agree. I think that's a huge portion of our huge problematic area of smells would be the armpit. Not enough of you started talking about the testicular region. I've said this before. I most often will take a shower when I wake up in the morning before coming here. I kind of like how it kind of presses refresh and reset, and I kind of feel better, and I feel more awake in that and all of that, and I think that's a very important part of my job, is like having your feet underneath you, feeling awake. Sleep is very important, because sometimes I will take a shower before I go to bed. And I've done that plenty of times, where I've taken a shower, like maybe on a Thursday night. Like I'd rather sleep a little longer in the bed Friday morning, and then I'm playing golf Friday afternoon with the guys, right? And so, like, I haven't showered in the morning. I've worked all day. I get a little animated in here. You get a little sweaty, and then I go straight to the golf course, play, well, a lot of times 36 holes. And then, I'm out there for a good stretch of time playing, and then you hit the clubhouse afterwards. You unbuckle to urinate some of that beer out, and you just get that waft of, like, I can't believe that's coming off of my body and from the area of my body I care about more than anywhere else. And it's, like, so gross. I think keeping the testicles. smelling good is I think that's important. I feel like it should have been more prominently displayed on this list. As a matter of fact, I joined one of those, is it Manscaped, I think is the company, Manscaped. And I joined their thing, and I got like the Lawnmower 4, which I thought was like, there's a light on this thing, but like, that's come in handy actually. And in that package, they gave you testicle toner, like a little spray, like, all right, like a little freshen up there, a little midday spritz there, and I gotta be honest with you, not unpleasant. And they also gave you some testicle deodorant. It's like a balm, and it kind of smells the way like the barber chair does, you know, that barber's cleaning smell. It kind of has that scent to it, but you kind of like, you know, you get that rubbed around in the fingertips there, and you apply to the coin purse. And I gotta be honest with you, it does. It kind of keeps moisture away, if you will. And I have found that to be a pleasant experience using that. Usually a little bit more in the warm months, but I was surprised that more men weren't talking about that region and them being self-conscious about that region being a little stinky. There is another that we haven't gotten to yet, so we'll do that next on the Stansbury Show.
Back to the Stansbury Show, Rock 106.9.
Welcome back to the Stansbury Show on Rock 106.9. Text the studio at 330-450-7625. The microphone talkback button while you listen live on iHeartRadio. Easy way to reach out as well. We've been talking about men being a little self-conscious, especially they say millennial men are a little bit more self-conscious about their body odor. Apparently that's what's on their mind all the time. 51% of them said that they have concerns on whether or not they know how to fix it. Okay, am I missing a way to fix this that I don't know about? But I mean, soap and water will get it done, right? I mean, it's pretty hard. If you get in the shower and scrub your body with soap and then rinse it off with water, it's hard to come out of there smelling worse, right? That seems, I'm perplexed on how people don't know. Now, Stansbury, not everybody has access to clean water. It's like, all right, well then they probably weren't the ones being asked about this though then, right? If they don't have access to clean water, my guess is it wasn't like, hey, let's go get them and ask them to raise their hands. I mean, come on. But apparently people don't know that this is happening to them. You've stood next to other people and been like, ugh, geez, you not smell that coming off of you? You've walked into somebody's home and went, oh my God. Right, because every house has a smell to it. Right? Like sometimes I'll ask people when they walk in my house, what's the smell like in here? Right? And oh, like this cleaning product or that? Okay, I'm fine. Oh, smells like a little reefer. Okay, all right, yeah, I was expecting that one, right? Like, okay, fair enough. But like, as long as it's not like, dude, what's going on in here? Now, this is getting a little sidetracked, but like, there's very few things are worse than like a dish smell, like dishes and coming from a sink. Like that smell is rancid. Right? But again, 59% said they'd want somebody to tell them if they have body odor. I think it would come down to who it was. Guys, some of them were worried about how their neck smells. Yeah, I guess, right? I mean, people are going to be hugging you, your girlfriend, your wife, whatever. Okay. Hands was another one. People were a little worried about that. The body parts men felt important to keep smelling good. It did include their hands, their chest, and then the groin pretty far down on the list. And I was shocked by that. Like, you know, a lot of people talking about swamp ass. You know, that I got a lot of that during the break, and I should have seen that one coming, I suppose. And to me, swamp ass and like what people would call fermented, right? Which I hate that kind of stuff. I absolutely hate it. That's what she said. Like I absolutely hate that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, to me, they're kind of the same thing, right? That's a similar system there. There are very few smells more rank than that. It is terrible. I talked about how sometimes, you know, I'll take a shower before going to bed. I'll wake up, come do the show, then I'll leave here, go play some golf. And, you know, you haven't showered yet. You hit the clubhouse to go to the bathroom, and you're like, oh my God, okay, let's go home and scrub old boy down, right? Like, if we're trying to put homie into action tonight, we better spritz him up a touch, right? And so that's what's going to happen there. I'm shocked people are worried that they don't know how to take care of it. 72% of men are anxious about how their body smells, and 29% of them care about body odor beyond the pit. This was commissioned by Old Spice. And the poll was then conducted by one poll, though, and it found that 3 in 4 are worried about their smells being embedded in their clothes after they take them off. Well, for sure they are. For sure they are. There's a reason why your wife wants to wear your hoodie. There's a reason, right? Like it has on it. I can smell it. I don't live with my better half, but we will share time at each other's homes. When she sleeps in the bed, when I get home after work that morning, I can still smell the leftover of her in the bed, and I gotta be honest with you, I don't hate it. Sometimes she'll come here in between work meetings, and we'll catch up for a couple of minutes in the day or whatever, and obviously we'll hug goodbye, we'll kiss goodbye, and she'll text me like 20 minutes later. I'm like, I can still smell you all over my clothes. And yeah, I think that's part of it. So yes, how you smell is going to be left on your clothes. There's a reason why dirty clothes, if you allow them just to sit there and pile, they will start to smell in the corner of the room. It's because your odor is on them. Now, men also shared the situations where they felt like they were most likely to have body odor during their first sexual experience with a new partner. Yeah, I'd be worried about that. Anybody who didn't shower right before that, and by right before, I mean before going out to the date or whatever it is, that's kind of on you. During a job interview, again, why are we leaving this up to chance? Shower right before you go to that. After a workout. Well, don't worry about smelling after a workout. You do smell after a workout. As a matter of fact, if you just worked out and you don't smell a little, you better turn around and get right back in that gym, because I don't think you did it hard enough. I'm not judging you. That's been true of me too. I've walked out of there like, all right, that's enough for today, but it wasn't. Men also believe that important occasions to smell good during the first sexual experience, of course, And the results also found that if they notice body odors on themselves, they will put on more deodorant as the fix, change their clothes, or apply some powder to it, right? I'm not necessarily the powder guy. I got into some of the other, deodorant types for body parts and like the balms and the like. I'm kind of more that way. But before going to play golf in like the summer, I have one of those like Gold Bond cooling sprays, right? That you kind of spray in the certain areas to make sure that they don't sweat more than maybe they should. Bottom of the feet's a big one for that spray before going out and playing golf. The groin region, another one, and it kind of prevents some of the sweating there. Now, you want to take a shower after using that stuff, is when you're done with the physical activity. But yeah, I will prepare for that. It's on my mind before doing that. To control odor from their groin, they're more specifically to use deodorant spray, take an extra shower, and then limit physical activity. Well, yes, if I'm hoping to get somebody else near the testicles, I'm probably not going to run a couple of miles before that happens. Let's hopefully she touches those, and if she doesn't, then I'm going to have to exercise that energy out one way or the other, then I'll go run the marathon, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. I would be limiting my physical activity out of fear or worry that I would smell for somebody else. 8 in 10 are using products to control their body odor at least twice per day. Wow, that sounds a little high. And they have an average of 3 different products in their daily routine to ensure they stay smelling good. See, all right, my daily routine is where I would push back for me personally. So many days of my life are spent coming here, going home, and never leaving the house again during the week. Honestly, yesterday, I once I got home, I never left the house ever again. Like, that's very common. I don't think I'm alone in that, right? So there's times as I'm not on TV, there's not a ton of cameras, I'm just kind of like in here alone, and so it's like a pair of jeans and a hoodie like I'm wearing today is fine. And I maybe wake up in the morning, I don't feel like it, and then I take a shower when I get home. So some of those days I might have to, concern myself with a little bit more. But anytime I know I'm going to be around other people, there's no gamble that goes into this. You take a shower, you put your best foot forward, and you make sure you don't stink. Like, some of these guys were worried that they were smelling at job interviews. Why didn't you take a shower before getting in the car to go to the job interview? Like, there's no good reason for that. Okay, homeless. Okay, fair enough. So you found the one. That's who's listening to me today right now and pushing back on that subject, though? The homeless? I mean, guys, come on. Like, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. If you're going to a job interview, now, again, a lot of people are going to be like, dude, do you really have to tell people this? Yes. Some of these people today have to be told not to take their parents to job interviews. You laugh, that's a thing. So yeah, I think there are people who have to be told, get your stinking ass in that shower and wash up before you go beg people for a job to make money with.
We would have them drug tested, but why waste the money? The Stansberry Show on Rock 106.9.
Welcome back to the Stansberry Show. Tomorrow on the program, I'll have another set of those incarceration tickets for you. That in July, Ohio State Reformatory on that one. Pretty good lineup, man. Shinedown, Godsmack, Breaking Benjamin, about 10,000 other bands as well. I have seen that festival grow from like folding tables on a gravel lot to what it is now. I mean, dude, it's a completely different thing. That thing has grown massively over the years. I'm sure they're happy about that, right? It's been a hugely successful event for them. And we will have tickets for you again. We will pass those out tomorrow, nearing the end of the program. We did get through the biggest song ever, according to Forbes magazine, ran some data down. Both sales and streaming metrics were involved in it. Journey's Don't Stop Believin' is, in fact, the biggest song of all time, they claim. I have no problem believing that. I think there are other songs, but I was shocked it wasn't Bohemian Rhapsody. Like, I'm not even the biggest Queen fan. Tie Your Mother Down I love. Some other things are great. They're not necessarily my favorite, but they are damn good. They are damn good. And Bohemian Rhapsody, whether I think they're a great band or not, there's no denying that's a massive song. That's one of the hardest parts about being a programmer. Not that this is, my issue today. I don't necessarily have this same position that I once upon a time had. But that's the hardest part about being a programmer, is setting aside your personal beliefs and going with, like, no, dude, that's a big song, no, whether you like it or not, right? It's kind of one of those. That's a hard thing. And a lot of programmers, struggle with that. Throughout my career, I will say, I have worked for guys who get it right more often than not. I had once upon a time, I had a guy who was just like a little too immovable on what his personal choices were. It was like, dude, like that's a big, what do you mean? That song's massive, right? Like there's been some of that. More often than not in my career, I've had very good, smart programmers to work with and for. And that's a benefit there. But that can be a hard thing for a lot of those men and women that have that job. It can be difficult. As a former music director, there were times where I was like, I don't want to, but like you knew you had to, right? So we got into that. I was shocked. I was going to say not that many, but nobody, as we were running through some songs we thought could have been it, nobody mentioned Smells Like Teen Spirit. And I thought about that again because, you heard More Than a Feeling there by Boston, and it wasn't that long ago. Jesus, why can't I think of his name? Smashing Pumpkins lead singer, Billy Corgan. Jesus, man, that was scary. I couldn't land that guy's name, but he had pointed out, Smells Like Teen Spirit is just more than a feeling. Really listen to it. Same song, same hook, same thing, right? It's like, oh, so legendary, changed everything. And it did. It was legendary, and it did change the sound of your radio for like the next, ever. It did do that, but it is just that same song. Like it is. If you really listen to them both, they're pretty similar there. So we got through biggest song all time, that belonging to Journey, not Shocked there, as I am a huge fan of them. Also talked guys being a little self-conscious about how they smell and phones in school. And man, did people have some opinions on that. If you missed any of those conversations, I would urge you to pick up the podcast shortly at WRQK.com to get caught up. Aside from that, done for the day, not back live again until tomorrow. You know how this works. Stay safe out there, be good to one another, and do in fact meet me here tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for Thursday's program on Rock 106.9. Hopefully you have a great afternoon, and hopefully I run into you somewhere around town.
Vampire Weekend, live across North America. Only God Was Above Us tour. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Because that's going to be hard, that's going to be difficult, and we're going to have to admit things about people, and we're going to have to admit things about mental health, and we're going to have to do all of that, and screw it, man. We like to take these very complex issues and reduce them down to where we can use a hashtag about it, because that's how you help. It's the awareness. Not by doing anything, the awareness is how you help. I guess I'll eye roll that. So sure enough, I took a few of these. The Stansberry, I can tell you that as a parent who lived through a school shooting, parents did not know what was happening. My nieces had been there. They were able to text their mom and let them know they were okay before other people had knew what was going down. Okay? Because everybody's like, well, when they get in the classroom, take the phones. Sounds like a good fix until we get to this. Until we get to this issue. Most of the times, I will always tell you, well, one issue isn't a good enough reason not to do something. But this one kind of is. The gamble's too high. I will gamble my money, which I tell you is the most important thing in the world. And on some levels it is, because it's how you buy shelter, it's how you provide clothing, it's how you exercise your love. That's what, there's not enough, the return's not high enough for the risk. Sorry, I'm multitasking reading these texts as they're coming in and speaking to you. I can't do it. So in most other cases, I tell you one reason's not good enough, but in this one, it kind of is. It just kind of is. The moment you hear something, you want to hear that kid's voice, you want to see their name come across that screen, you want to do that. Now, sadly, I can flip that coin over. So you get the text message, or you get the call, and you wipe that brow. Whew. Situation may not be over though. And maybe that door gets kicked open after those text or calls. So as I'm saying, it may be a good enough reason to keep the phone. I'm not sure that if you hear everything's all systems go, that means it's all systems go until they're back home, until you have your arms wrapped around them, until you are telling them, I love you more than anything in the world. You have no idea what this is like until you get married and have one of you. Until that moment happens, man, I don't think anybody's resting easy. Nobody. You're not going to rest easy. Even if you get the text, you're going to be like, get home. I want my kid at my house. Because coming back after that tragedy is way harder than anybody will give it credit for. Because nobody ever wants to spend time thinking about it. Because of how sad it is. I don't think you're going to rest that much easier, even with the text message. Momentarily, maybe. I don't deny that we're having a problem with kids paying attention in class. But in my day, it was the Nintendo Game Boy, and it was this, and it was Walkmans, and it was all that. To me, this is a new version of this. But that Walkman, all that helped me do was listen to Whitesnake. All that Game Boy did was help me beat Tetris. It did not allow me to tell my parents I'm okay. There's another end of this. Normally, I would take you over the break to tell you, but most people are telling me, dude, quit making it about texting, quit making it about the phone. There are other issues here. I don't trust everything that's going on with my teachers in these schools. I don't trust everything that's going on with principals and administrations in these schools. And that phone ain't a phone. It's a camera. It's an evidence recorder, is what it is. And I'm sorry, with every time I open the news, I see a new story about some teacher banging a student. I'm sorry, I want my kid to have the phone on them. I want my kid to be able to record something that doesn't look right to them. When that gut feeling goes off in them and they feel like this isn't right, I want my kid to be able to document that so they have it for me and for anybody else that may need it. And you know what? You're not all that wrong about that either. We do have Incarceration coming July 19th through the 21st. Shinedown, Godsmack, and Breaking Benjamin, just a few of the 10,000 artists playing it. Let's get caller 12 in right now. 330-450-7625. It's toll free at 800-243-7625. And it's New Turd Tuesday. Next on the Stansbury Show. I voted turd. It's bad. Most of you voted turd. Bad. And then we gave you the new Tyler Hubbard, Vegas. And, you know, this gets knocked all the time, and by this I mean country music. It's pop music. I don't know how intricate people are expecting it to be. Like, here's what you got to remember, dude. Most artists aren't trying to be Rush. Like, they're not. Most artists are trying to sell records. And by the way, most listeners aren't looking for the most complex time changes in things either. You know what they're looking for? Something to drink a beer to. Something to dance to. Something to get married to. Keep it simple, stupid. That's kind of how it works. That's how things become mass appeal. So knocking pop music for being pop music is crazy. We've talked about this before. You notice you pay $300 to go see your favorite band. They don't even play your favorite song. You know why? Because the concert ain't for you, the fan. You don't get 25,000 people in a venue with fans. You get it by casuals. It's kind of how it works. Most people, that's kind of how it works. I've said it before. Kiss can never make me happy from the stage. They can't do it. They're not playing Getaway, Got to Choose, Parasite, Coming Home. They ain't, dude, most of you kind of know Dr. Love, I Was Made for Loving You. You know what I mean? Lick It Up. You know all that stuff. I just listed 5 great songs before that make Kiss great. You've never even heard of them. Right. It's because they're never going to be played from the stage. Because I'm a fan. I'm the weird one. Most people are just like, I kind of like it. Fan is short for fanatic, right? And so, yes, pop music is going to be pop music. I don't understand the push there. I really don't get it. But I kind of felt like, kind of half a turd out of Tyler Hubbard there with that song Vegas. I do have new POD for you. This song is called Afraid to Die. Let's take a listen to this. Because this country, baby, you got to be tolerant of all the religions, except for that one from Kentucky. Except for them Christians, man. That's the bad one. All those other religions, use that tolerance, man. Hey, I think I'm going to go to church Sunday morning. What are you put the HBO effect on it? That'll make them think they like it. If it was on NBC, they'd hate it. HBO, I love it. Right? It's kind of one of those things. Yeah, I did not hear that at all, and I like POD, but like, good Lord.
It's a turd.
Yeah, that was not good. The hook was all right, but those verses just kind of ruined all of it for me. We do have a local artist for you, and if you're a local artist and would like to be featured on the segment, you can send me your stuff, stansbury@wrqk.com. That's the email. There's also the socials, The Stansbury Show, great way to reach out. 6 Whole Months is the name of this project, and Hawkins High is the name of this song. Now, I've said that a few times this morning, and apparently some of you are more up on your pop culture than I am. I'm told that that's the name of the school from Stranger Things. I watched about the first season of Stranger Things, then I was like, all right, dude, she's talking to the lights on the wall, I'm out. Right? And I was kind of like, all right, I'm out. And that's kind of where like that went down. The kid with no teeth, I was like, yeah, I'm good, right? And so I kind of gave up on that show. I hear it's great. I probably missed a bunch of great stuff. But apparently that's the name of the school, so I guess we'll have to take a close listen to this, figure out if there's anything in that or from that in. I was like, ooh, this is, I don't know if I'm going to get into this. But as the song went on, the more I heard it, the more it fit the song really, really well. Not necessarily my favorite. And again, that kind of puby thing isn't my favorite. I like a little Green Day. I like some Blink. It's not necessarily my favorite stuff. I like some of it, you know. But that's not necessarily my favorite sound, although I do think the local artist was easily the best song I played for New Turd Tuesday. This is exactly why you should send your stuff in, because that could happen for you too. So I'm going to go, not a turd. I'll go with Not a Turd there, 6 Whole Months, your local artist for New Turd Tuesday. We can wrap up that segment there with those guys. I kind of feel like, yeah, they kind of knocked that one out of the park. So keep sending that stuff in. Again, you can find me on your socials, The Stansbury Show. Also, the email's an easy way, stansbury@wrqk.com. I will definitely take a closer look at those, baby. sometimes then some social stuff is. My boss will reach out to me via email and never on my socials, right? So it's like, all right, let's keep our eyes on what the boss is doing there and whether or not he's reaching out. We also got into the phones in school issue today. And I'm going to dig that back up tomorrow because we didn't even have enough time to get into like the lockable bags to put your phones in. And this all came about because more and more teachers are complaining about the kinds of text messages parents are sending their kids. It's not even just how often you're texting them throughout the school day. It's like you're asking them what they want for dinner during fourth period. And, you know, a lot of people, I didn't even bring this up either, but a lot of people brought up like, dude, why is your kid deciding what you're having for dinner? It's like, well, I don't think asking for an opinion means that the kid is running the show. But all right, fair enough. We'll drag that part back out again tomorrow. Also, the lockable bags. We'll get back into the phones in school. But we touched on that this morning. Also, major changes to both Target and Dollar General on their self-checkout systems as well. If you missed any of those conversations, pick up the podcast shortly, that at WRQK.com. Aside from that, done for the day, not back live again until tomorrow, where I'll have another set of Incarceration Fest tickets for you. Stay safe out there. Be good to one another. Meet me here tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for Wednesday's program. I'm Rock 106.9. Hopefully you have a great afternoon, and hopefully I run into you somewhere around town.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
Denver Broncos games basically went on Colin Cowherd's show the other day talking about this move and said, good riddance to bad rubbish. So what did the Browns get here? A guy who needed a new piece of scenery? An invigorating thing, or is this going to be more Dwayne Bowe than we're going to be talking about how good Jerry Jeudy is? What do you think is going on here?
Well, Dwayne Bowe had a productive season before coming to Cleveland, right? I think Kenny Britt had a productive season before coming to Cleveland. You know, Jerry Jeudy has had hope and pedigree and unfulfilled promise to this point, right? You know, a Bama product, came out young, still only 24. Feels like he's been in the league forever, right?
3,000 yards in 4 seasons. That doesn't sound like a lot. Yeah.
24, 20. You know, he's still young. You know, still, you know, I will go to the hill saying he's one of the best route runners in football. You know, a couple of years ago had a high ankle sprain. That's going to superbly stunt your ability to run routes, right? You know, so there's he's had his fair share of issues, but he is also, to Mark's point and other reports throughout last season, hasn't been the easiest guy to get along with. And I think, at least right now, it always starts out this way, right? Change of scenery is going to be good. I think what has happened in Denver over the last several seasons would frustrate a lot of people. You know, you're seeing it sort of play out with the Russell Wilson situation. You know, with Sean Payton and so on. The difference is, you know, he came into the league early, first round draft pick, going to be number 1 guy. He's not going to have to be the number 1 guy. Right, you know, Amari Cooper, and you know, you could argue Njoku, you can argue even Nick Chubb if he's healthy, are going to take a lot of pressure off of him. And you know, hopefully, you know, the stats probably aren't going to be there, right? I mean, if you're looking at this from a fantasy perspective, you know, you're not getting Justin Jefferson numbers out of this kid, but what you're going to get is you need him to be better than the guy he's replacing, right? And you could argue the pedigree is 100% going to be better. It's just going to be up to him to stay healthy and make it work. You know, I know we're going to go this route, but Deshaun's going to be the driving factor in a lot of that. I will bank on pedigree and upside, and you know, 10 times out of 10, and just hope that the offense, the playmaker, and you know, the coaching staff can figure out a way to make it work that another team has not. We've seen that go against Cleveland plenty of times.
Yes.
And I think there's a world where now it works against Denver and actually can be a good thing here. So we'll see what happens.
Talking to Scott from waitingfornextyear.com. Find him on his X platform at WFNY Scott. All right, so Flacco now in Indianapolis Colt. It was almost $5 million guaranteed. There was no way the Browns were going to come up with